Yo, 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 you already know what time it is. Welcome back to another episode of Thinker versus Speaker, where I, Marissa the Thinker, sit down with one guest every week, Fridays at 11, and we talk about all things life. It's real people having real conversations here. It's no telling what we're going to talk about, but gear up, prepare yourself. First and foremost, I want to start by saying I am not a professional at any of this stuff. I'm just a person with opinions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm just a person with opinions. So like when you listen to Thinker versus Speaker, like we are here to create a dialogue. You know what I'm saying? Like use your own discernment. If it's stuff, you know what I'm saying? If it's stuff that makes sense to you, sure, take it, use it, run with it. But like if it don't resonate with you, don't take it. Don't run with it. Think about it. You know what I'm saying? Use your brain. We ain't here to tell you how to live your life. We just here to make you think, whether you agree, disagree, whatever. And when I say we, I mean me. I don't speak for Kay. I speak for me. But like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just here to make you think. So like, you know what I'm saying? Keep that in mind. And also, if you're easily triggered, do what you need to do. This might not necessarily be the place for you though. But if you're here to stay, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? If you get to the end and you like what you hear here, let us know. If it's other things that you want to hear us talk about, definitely let us know. You know what I'm saying? If you have a opposing opinion, like let us know. Again, like I said, this is about creating dialogue, making things comfortable for people to talk about. So we definitely want to have those interactions, and let us know about your experiences. And on that note, we gonna get into it. So if y'all have been keeping up, y'all already know this is the first episode in a whole new chapter of Thinker versus Speaker. Just saying, we're doing a series now, and the series is going to be on family and addictions. And to introduce this, I have my very special friend, my spirit guide. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna call your other nickname on here, but my very special friend. You know what I'm saying? We got Kay back in the building. How are you?
I am good. I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be able to talk with you on this topic. And as you mentioned, I'm not coming from a professional space either. I will be speaking solely from my own personal experience. I am not bringing the therapist Kay with me today.
Okay, cool. Because like even people with titles are human. Okay,
Okay.
can we start there? Like,
Okay, everybody is human. People be like, "Oh, you this, you're supposed to live like this, that." Ma'am, I've had experiences in my life that has nothing to do with this role that I play that God has brought me to play, you know. But I think that it's helped me become a better therapist and be a
yeah.
better therapist. But listen, I got some shit with me too. Okay,
Can I be real?
yeah,
Can I be real? It's so funny to
absolutely.
me. It's so funny to me that you a therapist, because like it's like the teacher effect. Like
Hmm.
it's very much the teacher effect. Like when you see a teacher like outside of school, and it's just like, so you eat groceries too, huh? Like, like you know what I'm saying? Like,
So you like movies and you eat popcorn and you eat oh, you like pizza. Yes, I'm a whole human being. It's I'm a person with feelings. I've experienced things. How do you think that
yeah,
I'm able to do this shit?
yeah.
You know?
Yeah. She puts the glasses on and she turns into Clarisha Kent, and it's just like, you know what I'm saying? You be like, damn, you a real life therapist. Fuck. Like, you
Real
know what I'm
life.
saying?
Look,
But
God brought me to it, so but
okay,
let's
but
get
nah,
into
but
it.
yeah, okay. 'Cause- all right. So like I said, we we're going into something new, and I want to spend this month talking about addictions. And when I say addictions, hmm,
Hmm.
hmm. How do we even define like what addiction is, right? Like when you hear addiction, what do you think? Like when you hear that word?
When I hear addiction, the first thing I think about is just drugs. I feel for so long, and oftentimes you talk about drug addiction being strung on drugs and like alcoholism, things of that
Mm-hmm.
nature. I'm not gonna hold you. Like when I hear addiction too, I also think about love addiction, addiction to like toxic environments, addiction to like
Ooh,
toxic partners, addiction to abuse. Um that when I hear addiction and abuse
damn.
in the same sort of light.
You done made me put my book down. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready for that. But
Yeah.
it's so real. It's so real too. And like, you know what I'm saying? That you mentioned it, like, I was fully prepared to be like, yes, at one point in time, I definitely I deal with an addiction to weed. Like you know what I'm saying? It's something that
Mhm.
I deal with and I have to wrap my mind around it. But at the same time, I was also addicted to love as well.
Yeah. Cause I'm like when I thought when we were gonna come and talk today, I'm just like addiction to weed, yes, that is very prevalent. I think that is important because a lot of us don't see it as addictions because it's like it's such a social thing to do and
Mm-hmm.
it's so popular and it doesn't really have like the effects of maybe like heroin or crystal meth or like those harder harsher drugs,
Mm-hmm.
but it does do something to you. For some people, smoking weed does cause more anxiety. It does make you paranoid. It does have those psychiatrical effects, you know? And for some people it doesn't. And it depends on strand, how much you smoking, when you smoking, your thoughts. It has like so many different components as to like the addiction and like how it impacts the body. But I'm like, we don't often talk about like addictions to like toxic relationship, addictions to like toxic people and like how we allow these different people to just stay in our lives because we're addicted to whatever they're bringing, even if it's not a lot, even if it's not
Mm.
enough, even if it's not
Yeah.
what we need, but we know that it's there, it's consistent, like that consistent trauma, that consistent like abuse, and it's just like that's an addiction
Yeah.
to keep
Yeah.
going after it, to relationship after relationship, cycle after cycle, to keep going
I
for the
need this
same thing. I need this to
to
thrive
be
because
okay. Yeah, I need
yeah,
this. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's how I see it too. Like an addiction is kind of like anything like where you like telling yourself like I need like it almost like to me like I see addiction as like the relationship that you have with a thing
Yeah.
or an action.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Cuz it's just like if it's to a point where you know what I'm saying and I would get this way. You know what I'm saying whether you want to admit it or not like cuz my addiction is like I said, like I'm addicted to things like food,
Mhm.
weed,
Mhm.
um, or like I should say I deal with it because I'm changing my relationship with it.
Yeah.
But food, weed, you know what I'm saying? Sex when I feel like it.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like when I'm in a space, like I'm not, you know what I'm saying, the type of person that like sleeps around. Not in that sense, but if I'm like in a relationship with somebody, it does feel like a need.
Yeah.
And like, you know what I'm saying? And also like love, like the feeling of like needing to give or receive love, like addicted to that as well. And like
Yeah.
I see it as the relationship with it. If it's
Mhm.
anything that I feel like if I don't get this, I'm not okay.
Mhm.
If I don't get this, then I cannot function
Mhm.
or I'm angry or annoyed or just like, you know what I'm saying? I have a physical reaction because I can't have something that's changing my state of being.
Mhm.
That's not okay to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not okay to me. And like, you know what I'm saying? Like what are some things that you would consider yourself like addicted to?
I would say that in the past I was addicted to smoking weed. And for me, like it was truly a coping mechanism. Like I'm having a long day, I'm stressed out, I'm gonna go smoke my joint. Before I like it was at a point where like I could not leave the house without smoking a joint. Like I was smoking a joint, wake and bake, eat my breakfast. After I'm done eating breakfast, smoke my joint, work or do whatever I'm doing for 2 hours, have my smoke break, do something for another 2 hours,
Mm-hmm.
smoke. Like I needed. I'm just like I'm anxious. I need whatever. All these feelings that I'm feeling, I need to suppress it. So like weed was that for me. Like it was able to like push all the things down and like kind of numb me and kind of allow me to just like be on autopilot. Like I just wasn't like my physical being was there, but I wasn't. And the weed was helping me to just like make life seem a little bit feasible, a little bit
Yeah.
more enjoyable, even though I was not enjoying it. I was not having a good time. It was just there. So with
Did
me,
you know you weren't having a good time?
I didn't at the time. I didn't know I wasn't having a good time. So let's be real. I started smoking when I was 15. I was smoking and drinking when I was 15, but I wasn't doing it as heavily. I didn't start smoking again until I turned 19, and that was off and on. But then once I got to grad school in St. Louis around 24, that's when like I picked up weed, like where I was smoking every day, multiple times a
Sorry.
day, Monday through Sunday.
Be like, I feel like I played a role in that, but I
You did not play a role in that. It's all good because I had a choice. You know, I could have said
apologize.
no. I'm not going to smoke weed. Just like when people offer me now if I want to smoke or if I want to drink, and I can always say no. No one's ever going to force me to do something I don't want to do. But I was making an active choice of doing it. And I'm like, in the moment, it didn't seem like I wasn't having a good time. I just knew that like those feelings that I didn't want to deal with, I was suppressing them and like I wasn't dealing with that. So it's like, and you become
and
a stoner.
and you become a stoner, and that became my new identity
Mm-hmm.
for years. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a stoner. You know what I'm saying? Like,
For me, it was I'm a pothead. I'm like, I'm a pothead. I'm okay with that. I'm like, yeah, I love my weed. And like everybody knew I love weed. Everybody knew I smoked weed. And I'm like, ew, I didn't like that. I feel like at some point it was cool to be a pothead, but like to be low key with it. But the fact that everybody knew, I'm like, ew, I kind of don't like that everybody knew that I did that. Like,
yo,
and I was known for it. I'm like, I ain't want to be known for being a pothead.
because when I left St. Louis, that was it. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? That was it. Like, even when I would be at work and stuff, like niggas knew I would still be like I wasn't the type of that would like smoke before I went to work unless I closed. Different story. But like I wouldn't be the type to smoke before I go to work. But like at the same time though, I was still we finished smoking at 4 o'clock in the morning. So I'm still high. If we were smoking from 11 to 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm still high. And like niggas knew that. So like even then, like I would be at work and I'm on autopilot. Like I was good at my job.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what I'm saying? So I could do my job in a way where niggas like never really had to say nothing to me about it. It's not like I'm coming late or like, you know what I'm saying, stealing nothing or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? It's just like I might be moving a little slow. And I
Mm-hmm.
might take a couple of little pauses or whatever, you know, but I'm on top of my shit. So like
Yeah.
niggas never said nothing, but like it was very much like known, like, yeah, that nigga smoke weed. And
Yeah.
that nigga smoke a lot of weed. That nigga be high all the time. And it's just like, I don't like that for an identity. Like, I don't want that to be my identity. And I guess that goes back to like the relationship that you have with it, right? Like,
Yeah.
how many people smoke or drink or do whatever the fuck they vice is, but it's not their identity
Mm.
because they doing it for like leisure. The intention is different.
The intention behind what you do is very important. I've learned that when like I talk to weed before I smoke it. Like, look, I'm gonna smoke this because I have cramps, or I'm gonna smoke because I need to get some creative expression or whatever the intention is. I think that it's important that we look at like what's the intention behind it. For me, for a very long time, smoking weed, I was using it to suppress my feelings and not deal with the now, with the present. I wanted to like be in another world. I wanted to
Mm,
check out. It was a really good gateway for me to check out and not fully be there with what's happening right in front of me.
right. Right. I agree with that because mine was very much similar. Like when we really get honest with it, like I could tell myself a bunch of reasons. I could be like, oh, I'm doing it to be creative, or oh, I'm doing it to go to
Mm-hmm.
sleep, or oh, I'm doing it because I got a headache. But like in reality, I just do it because I like to be numb.
I wanted to be high. I'm like, I want to be high. I like the feeling of being high, and therefore I'm gonna smoke some weed and have that feeling. And then when it's going, I'm gonna roll me another joint, and I'm gonna do it all over
And I'm gonna
again
do it all over again.
until I go to sleep, or until I decided I'm gonna, whatever the plan was for the day. And I'm just like, but it was the intention was to always to keep that feeling going. I remember being in ciphers smoking weed back to back, blunts, joints, bongs, like just back to back, just like nonstop. And I'm just like, wow, just high as hell, like just high as hell, like
Yeah.
with no intention of doing shit really, just in
Yeah.
bed, maybe watching Netflix and chilling, and just like, and this wasn't just a one-off thing, it was happening so often.
We was doing this shit every day. Like that's literally what life was for us.
Yeah,
Like life for us was literally getting high and making crazy ass food and watching TV and playing games and shit. That's literally what we did.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And it was fun, but it also wasn't getting me anywhere. It wasn't
yeah,
progressing my life forward. Like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like you literally are stuck in the same place. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because when that was my priority in life was smoking,
Yeah.
because that's what I was giving my time to, my money to,
Money.
my attention to, and
Mm-hmm.
my energy to.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you get out of that? Everything that you put your time, money, effort, and energy into is what you get in return. So if I'm giving all of that to smoking, all you get is a high, and that's it.
Yeah. That fades away, that you have to keep buying into, and eventually is like, as tolerance gets so high, you got to buy more weed, or you got to buy different strands, you got to start doing this, and it's just like, it just gives you deeper and deeper into the hole. And it's like, you got all this shit that you're not dealing with, that you have to eventually come to terms that you're not dealing with. You have to eventually face it, like, because I was running away from all this stuff I didn't want to deal with, but I'm just like, I still gotta face it. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm running and running and running and running, but it's like,
It's
I
not going nowhere.
still have to face it, because it's still going to be there. It's still lingering over my shoulders, because it's something that has to be done, and I have to deal with it. And I think that when I did start to sober up, shit started to look very different.
Mm. I'm
Very
glad.
different.
I'm glad you said that, because that actually leads to my next question, which is like, how did you come to terms with the fact that you had an addiction, and why is that even important?
Mm. Okay. So I'll get a little, well, transparent here. Um,
Yeah.
I learned I had an addiction during the pandemic, because that's when like it started to increase. Like, I may have doubled how much I was smoking during the pandemic, because
Mm.
that's just how stressed out I was. Plus, I was with a person who, like, I just didn't want to be with, and I felt like when we smoked, it just made it a little bit like, it made the relationship easier to stay there and be in it. I'm like, we smoke together, we have high, we get high, it's a little bond, we bond in smoking. I'm like, I feel like whatever feelings I felt about this person that made me want to leave, the weed just kind of like
Make it go away.
made it go away, dissipated.
Yeah.
So
Well, I still hate you when I get sober.
yeah, and it's just like, but when we smoking, it's all good. But when
We
I'm
good.
sober, it's like, I don't like you. But when we smoking, I'm like, you the best person in the world. I love you. Let's go get some food. Let's go like do all these fun things. But when I'm sober, it was really like living in two fucking worlds. And I
Bruh.
was and I was choosing to live in a high world, because I was being delusional, and I didn't really want to deal with what was there. And it wasn't
Ooh.
until probably July 2020. I also struggled with some mental health issues, like I waver in with depression, anxiety for sure. And around the time I wasn't feeling good. I was just like really anxious all the time, and the relationship was going really south. It was just like not it was not a good time. And I'm just like, I'm like, I was examining my relationship with weed, but not really. I used to
Mm.
mention it to my I started going to therapy in July 2020, and I was mentioning to my therapist, I'm just like, eventually I want to talk about my relationship with weed, but right now that's not why I'm here.
Mm.
I'm like, I want to get to talk about that, but I'm like, right now that's not what's present, but it's going to come up. And when it came up in therapy, I was just like, yeah, I'm like, I don't know how to stop smoking weed. I'm like, I have to smoke weed to, get through the day. Like, it helps me, figure things out and shit like that. And we never really talked about how to overcome it. I just decided to go cold turkey
Mm-hmm.
with it, and I started to smoke less, or like smoke. I started to smoke once a day, and eventually, like right after I broke up with my ex, is when I stopped smoking the less. Like I literally went cold turkey fully, and
Mm-hmm.
I just stopped smoking. And I told myself that like when I turned 20, because it's right around my 28th birthday, I said when I turned 28 is the rebirth. I claimed it as my rebirth year. So I'm like, when you rebirth, you kind of get to start over. I'm like, I get to start over and do this shit over. I get to kind
Mm-hmm.
of reimagine how life gonna go. So I'm like, I'm gonna stop smoking weed. I'm gonna sober up. And I'm like, damn, if I'm gonna sober up, what the fuck I'm gonna do? So I started incorporating some yoga into my life. I started changing like my habits and like my daily routine
Right.
to kind of help with that. And it helped, but I didn't realize how much weed took over my life.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize how much of my life I had lost by like being high all the time. Hours I've lost, time I've lost, memories I could have been creating that fell to the wayside because like I either was too high, or I was high and I fell asleep, or I couldn't do something, or I didn't want to leave the house because I didn't have weed. And I needed something to ease my anxiety. And I'm just like, the moment I stopped doing it was when I learned how big of an impact it had in my life, how much of an addiction that it was. And I had to start really looking at like, yo, this shit really took over my life. Like it was the
Mm-hmm.
weed was smoking me.
It was, yeah.
I was just, it was smoking me so much that I was just like, God damn, like, why am I just now deciding to have routine? Why am I just now incorporating yoga and meditation and reading? I'm like, why haven't I chose this before? Because when I stopped smoking it, I felt lighter.
Mm-hmm.
I could think clearly. It wasn't a lot of brain fog. I was able to journal. I was able to be present. I was able to have like better conversations with people because I was actually listening.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy the difference that makes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's crazy that the difference that makes. And like now that you mention it, it was just like I forgot that I stopped smoking twice. And the
Mm-hmm.
first time that I started smoking wasn't necessarily by my own will. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I stopped smoking when I moved here because one, like, I don't know anybody here. So access, first and foremost. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's the access. And two, like, I was living with my parents, so they ain't going for that shit. So like I just couldn't smoke, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like when I got access again, I started smoking again.
Yeah.
Cause like in my mind, I don't have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I do not have a problem. And again, like I've already done laid out like, you know what I'm saying, how I was smoking. I would wake up, smoke. Like if I'm off, then why the fuck am I sober in my mind? Like that's literally how the brain process works for me. It's just like if I'm off work, why am I sober?
Mm-hmm.
That was the logic. That was literally the logic. Like if I don't have to function, then why am I functioning?
I remember that
What,
mindset.
what the fuck?
It's like if I'm not working or doing something important, why can I be high right now? I might as well be high. It ain't shit else.
It ain't shit else to do, and it's just like, hold on, what kind of logic is that? So like, yeah, I stopped smoking then, but like I said, once I got the access back, you know what I'm saying, like I started smoking again. And like my mom was like super disappointed when she found
Mm-hmm.
out that I was smoking again.
Mm-hmm.
And like I couldn't even understand why, because I'm just like, the fuck, I don't have a problem, like I'm good, like, you know what I'm saying, it's just weed, it's just a little weed, like what the fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm thinking my mama is like the square, like, you know what I'm saying, just like
Yeah.
with the, like it's just a little weed, like little weed ain't never hurt nobody, I can't die off this, you acting like it's crack, like, you know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Like it's just a little ganja.
Like damn, like it's natural, like chill
A
the
little
fuck
tween, tween,
out.
tween.
Hey, you act like I'm on that hard shit, like I'm on cocaine or something, I ain't on that. You know
Right,
what I'm
it's a
saying?
plant. It's like actually it's a plant. It's a plant based.
Exactly. But like, you know what I'm saying? She was very much disappointed. And like I remember this and it stuck with me. And I've said this on a podcast before, but like, you know, she told me she was just like, you not that same person anymore. Like
Mm,
she was like, what happened to the you that would go after whatever the fuck it was that you wanted? Like
mm,
what happened to you?
mm,
And that shit burned. Like, you know what I'm saying? When somebody say some shit that burns you into your soul because you know they right,
mm-hmm,
but you don't want to admit they right.
mm,
And I still didn't even understand what the fuck she meant. I knew it hurt, but I didn't understand what she meant because I wasn't ready to come to terms with the fact that I had a problem.
mm. That's so telling. That's so
Oh,
telling.
why you say that?
I'm like, even when like I mentioned like when I started to sober up, I forgot to mention a key part as to like why I sobered up. Like I was in transition. I knew that I was going to have to like make a sudden move, which was me moving back to Jersey.
Mm,
And I knew that I could not come back home on that hot shit that I was on.
mm,
I just like it just and my mother probably wouldn't have said that to me because she knows I smoke weed.
yeah.
But my grandmother says things like that to me. She's like, "You need to stop smoking weed and surrender. You need to surrender and stop smoking." She's like, "You're relying on that stuff to relax you." She's like, "You don't need that to relax." She's like, "You don't need that stuff." She's like, "You need to surrender to God." And she said that to me literally this past summer after I turned 29 because she was here for the summertime, and she was
Mm,
like, "You need to stop smoking weed and surrender to God." And I'm just like, "Girl, it's just weed. It's like it's good. Like I'm good. Like I'm Gucci." But she was right. I was using weed to relax because I needed to help me go to sleep. I needed to like calm me down after like a long day. And I'm just like, when you hear stuff like that, it's like you know part of it is true, but you don't really want to deal with it because it's like weed is
yeah.
such a fun thing. Smoking weed is such a fun thing to do, and like in the way we see it, but like it does have some like some deeper impacts because it does make you more anxious. It could clog your mind and make you cloudy and make you feel stagnant and stuck, like you just in the same pace. It's just like a pattern, and you just like it's like it's like watching a video replay the same thing day after
Mm-hmm.
day after day after day, and like nothing really changes.
Yep. Yep. It's just the same old story. It's the
Yeah.
same old story every day. And you know what? I'm glad that you say that because like you the thing that made me stop was
Mm.
purpose. It was
Yeah.
seeking purpose.
Mhm.
And like it wasn't until like I ended my relationship. I started going to therapy and all of that stuff, and I really committed myself to working on myself. And I
Mhm.
still hadn't came to terms with me smoking yet. I'm still smoking, but I just started to notice things right as I started to pull my life together.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So like one, it would be like, okay, when I'm going to therapy, like I'm smoking on the way to my parents' house before I get into therapy. So by the time I get to therapy, I'm fried. And she's asking me to dig deep, and I'm barely got surface level. So it's just like, oh, I'm wasting my money first and
Cause
foremost.
you're
Like,
paying for therapy. I used to go to therapy high too. And I'm like, I hope she don't know that I'm high. And I'm just like, I'm not doing myself no favors because it's like I wouldn't tell her that I was high, or
uh,
she never asked. I'm just like, it's like you here to get help, and you over here smoking weed. Like,
yeah. I'm in that bitch like, hold on, wait, say that again, Miss Monica.
uh-huh,
Like, hold on,
paranoid.
like, exactly, like,
I'm
you
just
know
like,
what I'm
wait,
saying?
what you saying? I'm like, hold on, ask that again. And then I'll be thinking about it the whole time. I'm not thinking about it. I'm just fried as hell.
You just fried, wasting her hour. Like, you know
Well,
what I'm saying?
they get paid regardless. I'm wasting my own damn time. I'm playing with
Yeah.
my own damn life because it's like I'm not willing to do the one thing that's that's blocking me from really tapping into like what the fuck it is I want to do and where the fuck I want to be, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that's when I had to tell myself, like, all right, I gotta stop this shit. So it started small. Cause it'll be like I'll tell myself, like, okay, I don't work a type of job where I can be high. So that shit gotta stop.
Mm,
So I'm not high when I'm at work. That's just a no-no. Like
yeah.
that's the no-no times, right? So
Mhm.
then it goes to like, okay, well, when I go to therapy, I don't want to be high. All
Mhm.
right, cool. So then you get to looking around, like stuff starts to get better. Like I'm in therapy, so I'm learning how to deal with those emotions because I'm using weed for the same reasons. Like
Yeah.
it's helping me go to sleep, it's helping me calm down, it's helping me do this, it's helping me do that. But these are things that we should be able to do on our own.
Allegedly. Mhm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? But well, I should say, okay, this is me speaking from my personal life. Like before I started going to therapy, I used to think there was something legitimately wrong with me. Like I thought I might have had some like psychological shit, whatever. Now
Here
if
you
I
go with your
do, my
self-diagnosing.
yeah, but my therapist ain't never told me shit. So we gon' you know what I'm saying? And like now that I've learned how to deal with my emotions, it's just like when I think about shit like that, I'm using weed to go to sleep. But in reality, like when I'm in that purpose again, my day's full.
Mhm.
So when it's time to go to bed, a bitch ain't got a problem.
Mhm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? But like also I've dealt with my shit emotionally. So I say what the fuck I need to say. I
Mhm.
mean what I say. I'm not people pleasing. I ain't got other people's problems on my heart no more.
Mhm.
Like trying to solve other people's problems. Like all that shit that keeps you up at night.
Yeah.
I let that shit go. You know what I'm saying? So I go to bed at night. You know what I'm saying? You know, you work out, you do shit like that. The shit that's gonna naturally tire your body out so you can go to bed. Like, you know what I'm
Coping
saying?
skills, like legitimate healthy coping skills, and I think that that's what needs to be more of a conversation. Like, what are healthy coping skills? Because for a long time, I didn't know what the fuck that was. I'm like, healthy coping skills. I'm like, weed is my coping skill. Weed is like
Exactly.
my emotional support thing. Like, I have my emotional support blunt right here with me. Like, and it's gonna help me go to sleep. It's gonna help me go to this event. It's gonna help me get through dinner. It's like it was that, and I'm just like I was codependent on weed.
Yeah.
I had a toxic relationship with weed, and it was like, and that the only person who was benefiting from it was my weed man because he was getting rich off
Exactly.
my ass. I was a guaranteed motherfucking
Exactly.
customer. Like niggas was getting my money. Like you feel me? And I'm just like, wow. Like even now, I just stopped smoking again, and I stopped smoking for like 5 days. I did smoke yesterday, but with the intention to just like catch
I
up with
smoked today. I ain't even gonna cap, but I was at a party.
right, to catch up with a friend. It wasn't like, oh, I gotta smoke, I gotta be high, high, high. Like it's just I was
It's
casually,
different intention now.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was casually smoking. I had a great time actually. Shout out to my friend John Carr. Like we always have a great time, great conversation when I go to the Bronx. And I'm just like, I could do that because I'm like, even today, I'm just like, I didn't crave weed. I didn't feel like I had to smoke today. I didn't feel like I had to be high today. And I'm just like, since I've stopped smoking, I can remember my dreams.
Okay.
I wake up feeling lighter. Before I used to wake up feeling like froggy. I couldn't really get out of bed.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, like I was also about to fall into a wave of depression. I feel like if I kept
That
smoking,
part.
if I would have kept smoking at the rate that I was going, I would have the wave would have definitely took me out.
Weed makes me depressed if I
It
want to keep it
does.
a full buck. Like when I use it full swing and I'm really in a constant state of being high, I'm depressed. But like you
Yeah.
have to think about it. You're suppressing your emotions. Your emotions aren't meant to be suppressed.
You
They're
gotta
meant
let
to
that
be
shit
dealt
out.
with.
Yeah, you gotta let that shit out. You gotta deal with it. You have to find a healthy outlet to deal with those emotions. And I feel like now I have so many outlets. I have my friends, have you, obviously my best friend I could come and talk to. I journal. I fucking write poetry. I do yoga. I dance, like I laugh, like I'm living life. Like I feel like I get to live life again. I feel like I have I could be in my purpose, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and purpose isn't just like, you know what I'm saying, like one thing. Like purpose ain't just like one job or like one
Yeah.
thing. Like purpose is just like what the fuck. Like purpose is just like it's your job, it's yourself, it's
Mhm.
your, you know what I'm saying, like your gifts. Like sometimes like purpose is like helping people or
Mhm.
having a certain job or like having a certain talent or being a mother or being a father. Like all of that is a piece of purpose. Like being a
Yeah.
good friend, like that's all purpose. And it's just like filling your day with things that are fulfilling to your soul. That's purpose. And like, you know what I'm saying, for me it was realizing that my relationship was with weed was actually blocking me from all of the things that I love that bring me genuine fulfillment, because I'm
Mm.
choosing to fill my time with this versus filling my times with the things that actually make me fulfilled. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like a workout, if I have a choice at the end of it every day. I can either get off work and go work out,
Mhm.
which is something that gives me an endorphin release and like, you know what I'm saying, like energy, and makes me feel good. It also helps my body, you know what I'm saying, and all of those things, you know what I'm saying, it makes me feel good about myself. It gives me confidence because I kept a promise to myself. Or I could go home, I could get off work, smoke a blunt, go eat food because now I don't feel like cooking, so go order out, you know what I'm saying, eat something that's not good for me, watch TV, you know what I'm saying, maybe fall asleep because it was a little stronger than I expected it to be.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying, wake up and it's just like, well, fuck, I gotta go to bed because it's time for me, you know what I'm saying, I gotta go to work tomorrow. It's
Yeah.
just like choosing, it's just like, what are you gonna fill your day with? Are you gonna
Mm.
fill your day with like things that give you that those same things back? Or are you gonna fill it with something that pulls from you?
Mm. Mm. I like that. I like that. Another thing I didn't mention is how like me smoking weed kept me away from like my connection with divine, with God. Like I I
Boy,
I couldn't. I'm like I couldn't. I felt
can't
like he
even
was.
pray right.
I feel like he was ashamed of me, and like I was giving like crackhead, and I'm just like I can't even talk to God because I'm just like God is like, what the fuck is you doing? What
Yeah.
the fuck is you down here doing? I did not send you here to be down here doing this, but I felt like having that experience is so necessary because it helps me understand people and like other addictions.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay. But it
Yeah.
definitely like now that I don't smoke as excessively and I
Uh-huh.
have a grip on life, I feel like my connection, my relationship with God is definitely deepened.
Yeah. So I guess what we're saying is kind of like in a sense like, you know what I'm saying, when you accept the relationship that you have with it, you then have a choice of what you choose to prioritize,
Yeah.
because you weren't aware of what you were prioritizing before. You were just kind of like in that cycle. But when you finally like come to terms with it, like, okay, I have a relationship with this thing, because like I said, it could be anything, but I have a relationship with this thing that might not necessarily be healthy and is keeping me from things that actually make me feel better. You know what I'm saying? I think sometimes like we don't even realize that other things could make us feel better than this.
The other
It's just
things
a
work.
quick way.
Yeah. And convenient because it's
It's the,
like,
yeah.
because we don't have to really do much. You just roll it up, you smoke it, and it's there versus like, oh, let me actually go and work out because everything else takes effort. With weed, you just get your blunt, you sit on the couch. That's it. Everything
That's
else
it.
requires some type of effort. You getting a pen to paper, you putting gym clothes on to go to the gym. You gotta move your body. It requires some sort of effort. With weed, it doesn't. Is it could be effortlessly, like just
I mean, is it effortless? Is it effortless? It's
yeah.
kind of funny. It's just a choice though, because it's just like, man, is it effortless? Because all think of all the shit that you actually have to do to smoke. You got to contact the weed man. You got to make that link.
Girl.
You got to get a apparatus to actually use the shit.
But once you put it all together, it's nothing. By the time you do all that, you could have then took your ass to the gym because you don't gotta call the gym and be like, "Can I come in today?" No, you can go to the fucking gym. You don't gotta ask your journal. Can I journal you today? You don't gotta ask. You don't gotta ask God. Can I talk to you today? You can literally talk to God. There's so many things that's just accessible and that's there and ready for us to like, deal with whatever we're going through. But it's like I'm gonna be honest with me. I'm like, I have a lot of people in my family who have addictions, and addictions not to just like hard ass drugs. You feel me? I didn't watch people be addicted to drugs, alcoholism. I didn't lost some people in my family to those things, and I I know for me that like a big part of like why I stopped and why I recognize like why I could not continue on with weed is because I've seen what it's done to people.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it destroy people. I've seen people lose themselves. I've seen people like be like the most beautiful high end vibrational beings and being sucked into like this addiction and cycle of like damn. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I'm like, that's not me. I'm like, I refuse to be in that cycle. I refuse to allow any drug or anything to take over me like that.
Period. And some people can actually smoke all the time and be fine.
Yeah.
But it's knowing what your particular
I
relationship
know
with
my
that thing
limits
is.
and I
Yeah.
recognize my relationship with it. And I'm like, I know that I have to be cognizant of like when I smoke and like how I smoke and what my intention is with it. Because with me, I get addicted.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of things that like if I do it too much, I'll be get addicted because if it feels good, I like it, I want it, I need it, I
Point
can't
blank,
breathe, I
period.
can't live without it. Like where is it? Like I need you in my life. Like that's just how deep and intense it is. And it's like recognizing that and knowing that, I know that I have to draw limits. And I know that like weed is something that I'm like, okay, you can smoke today, but like don't be buying weed and you smoking every day. Like I noticed that that's just not something that works for me. And like you said, when you recognize that relationship and you see what it does, you get to make a choice.
Mm-hmm.
And I made the choice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And how important, so once you make that choice, right?
Mm-hmm.
How important is it to like change the environment, do you think?
Oh,
Like how do you think a
baby. Ooh.
environment
Whew.
how do you think that environment around you changes or like transforms after you come to that acceptance?
Environment is key. So like when I first moved back to Jersey, I was sober. So when I got here for a little bit, for a while, I wasn't smoking. Then like I don't even know what triggered me to smoke again, but I started smoking again and I just couldn't stop.
Yep.
But it was the environment I'm in. Weed is legal here. Everybody around me smoke. I don't pay for weed. Like I was having blunts and joints rolled to me on a regular basis. Like it was always there. It was everywhere I went. Like there was weed. And I'm just like, oh, I ain't gonna say no, it's free weed. Like, like I wanna smoke, like da da da, like it's cool. But environment matters. Even now, like my little brother smokes and I could smell it. And sometimes I'm just like, dang, I want to smoke, but I'm just like I'm like I have to say no. I can't. Like I'm cutting myself off. But
Yeah.
it's important that like when you are going to stop doing that, that you're going to have to stop being around people who smoke, and so you can trust yourself to be in that environment and not do it. Like I right now, I have enough willpower that like I could be around people and not so go like, nah, I'm good. Like I'm Gucci. Like I'll go in another room or I'll do something else or I'll remove myself from it, but you got to be strong as
Yeah.
hell. You got to know that like look, my what I'm doing right now is stronger than like my desire to want to smoke this blunt, my desire,
Period.
my earning, like my cuz it's weed. Like if you used to smoking weed is like you gonna naturally want to do it because
Mm-hmm.
you do it, and it's like it's not like it's crack. It's like I smoke weed. It is what it is. Like I hit a pull, take a pull, whatever. But it's like once you take that pull and then you miss it, and you get high, and then you want to keep smoking. For me. Once I do it again, it's like that rabbit hole. Unless like I have an intention behind it. It's like if I
Yeah.
aimlessly go and smoke, just to be chilling and stuff like that, I'm going to go home and smoke some more versus like, oh, I'm going to smoke and I'm about to create and like, do whatever that may be different. But I'm like, you really got to just be mindful and like keep in mind
Mhm.
like why you stop smoking and like what's there and like when you smoke what comes up because it could be hard to break, but every time I do I always go cold turkey.
Yeah.
I don't recommend that at all, but I know that like the type of support I have in my life and the type of time that I'm on that I can go cold turkey and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the
Yeah.
part where I feel like fortunate because like even though I do have this like addictive personality, I've been fortunate enough to not be addicted to something that I can't stop.
Yeah.
Cause some people aren't that lucky. And some
No.
people, you know what I'm saying, will legitimately need help, you know, ending their addictions. You know what I'm saying? And that's a whole different rabbit hole that I'm not really qualified to. Well, you know what I'm saying? I don't have no shoe in that game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't understand what it's like. And that's why, I can only speak on my experience when it comes to stuff like that. Like I'm
Facts.
lucky because like, you know what I'm saying? This is something where I get to stop. And like you, like when it comes to like buying it and stuff like that, like like I'll do it like when I go to a party
Yeah.
or like when I'm going out or like if it's a holiday or something like that, or you know what I'm saying, yeah, like that's really typically it, because I know I'm the type of person where it's just like if I buy one then I need to buy two, if
Mhm.
I buy two then I need to buy four, if I buy four I need to buy eight, you know what I'm saying, and that's just how I work
And then it doesn't
to
stop. Yeah. Then
it
you back
doesn't
into
stop
it.
till I'm in a state of depression and
Mhm.
can't really understand. And now I gotta cry to God again because I need to get myself up out of hole. And it's just like,
Mhm.
you can't keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect something different. And like
Yeah.
now that I've gotten to a place, like now that I have coping mechanisms and stuff like that, the they are more effective
Yeah.
and
'Cause you see the
longer lasting and
benefits. Yeah.
substantial,
Mhm.
absolutely, because it's just it's not, it don't hit the same.
Mhm.
Like, you know what I'm saying, if you realize that like something that can give you an equal high
Yeah.
that's healthy, like, you know what I'm saying, I can get that from a workout, I can get that from writing, I can get that from fucking doing the podcast. Like, you know what I'm saying, I'll do good episodes and like have like genuine adrenaline and like endorphins going through me
Mhm.
like when it's done. And it's just like that's more substantial, and I know that when I go down this rabbit hole I do less of this,
Mhm.
and that's not worth it to me.
Yeah. And even with the healthy like coping skills, they have long-term benefits that help you like,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like that's what it's about, like it's to help you keep growing and be better and like keep achieving those goals and keep reaching for like the stars and like keep dreaming bigger because it's like at the end of the day it's like the goal is to live life,
Yep.
not have like life live you and you just
Like,
there. It's
mm-hmm.
like the goal is to live life. And I'm like, when I was smoking weed, I was watching life pass by. But now I get to live life. I get to have control over what I do, over what I do in the morning, my morning routine, my night routine. And it's like when I was smoking, the weed was like, you about to go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about to put you in a coma. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, I
Fuck
want
what you
to,
thought you was doing today.
yeah. It's like, no, I have control over my life and what I do. I take my power back.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Cause what, when you wake and baking at what, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning and you smoke that blunt and it says you about to go take a nap.
It's like I got work actually.
It
And
would
it's
be my fucking off day and it would be gone just like
yeah,
that.
just like
Just with that
that. You
wake and
know how
bake.
much time weed has snatched away from me just because I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna start the day off by being high as hell because it's like I'm high as hell. I'm a kitchen cooking. And now I'm not just cooking, I'm cooking. I'm making an elaborate ass breakfast. And now before I make that, I have to smoke again. So that's another 20 minutes. Then I'm
Bruh.
going to eat. I gotta find something to watch. I'm watching TV for about an hour. I got this fat ass meal I just had. So now I'm tired as hell.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
I'm taking a nap taking a nap, you
on
wake up
all
from your
that
nap,
heavy ass food
heavy
that you
ass
just ate,
food on your stomach. You take a nap, hour and a half, you wake up. Well, now I'm hungry
feeling like
again.
shit. Feeling like shit though, because you just woke up, all that food in your fucking stomach. Now you hungry and you want to get high again.
And
My bad.
I gotta smoke again. So I'm smoking again. Like, am I gonna cook? Am I gonna order some food? I don't know what I want to eat. I got the munchies. I'm snacking. I'm just like, that shit was horrible. Cause I was overeating, eating bullshit, putting so much
Mm-hmm.
into my body, like allowing so much to like come in, not just with food, but like TV, all these just different things to just enter because like they was just I was just open and available to whatever because like I wasn't in control.
Ooh, ooh. See, that's when we talk about vibrations, but we ain't. Mm-mm.
We gonna save that for another time.
Yeah, yeah, because that's a whole nother like gateway that gets open. But you know what? Um, the last thing that I kind of want to talk about before we wrap this up is just
Mhm.
like, okay, so we talk about those changing environments, like
Mhm.
how you have to kind of like change what's around you or learn how to like mentally overcome your environment if you can't change it. Because
Mhm.
like sometimes you can't change your environment.
Yeah.
Sometimes your environment is what it is, but you have to change the way you see your environment
Change your
and like
mindset.
exactly and like find your like willpower and your reason for not doing so.
Mhm.
But like, I mean, if you can change your environment, it's probably for the best.
Facts.
Probably for the best. But
Facts.
like, how do you then like navigate relationships when you decide to break a habit?
Mm. You so funny because it's like you so fucking funny because we just talking about this shit. Um,
Mm,
I feel like when you navigate relationships, you start being really honest about where you're at and what you're doing. I feel like I don't feel like you have to lose friends because you stop doing this stuff. You just have to let your friends know, like, look, I'm not doing that right now. That's not the type of time I'm on. And being honest about it. And like your friends who fuck with you, they're gonna be cool. Like, because if you have friends who fuck with you, they're gonna find other ways to connect with you. They're gonna find other
true.
ways to kick it with you. And it's like, sometimes you do lose friends because sometimes you realize that's all we had in common. All we had in common was smoking and drinking and getting fucked up. And like, I don't do that no more. So I gotta let you go, homie. I'm dealing with my shit head on. And it's not always easy because those be like the bonds that you think are the deepest and the hardest because like you've been smoking and drinking and doing all these things for so long. And then once you start unpulling back the layers of like what's really there, you see that it's nothing.
Hmm.
You see that it's
And
nothing.
and do you think because do you think that that makes people like not want to quit? Because like now even with this like I see the relationship aspect of it too,
Mhm.
like you know what I'm saying, when it comes to like quitting habits and quitting people and
Uh-huh.
like you know what I'm saying, like relationships and all of that, like to what extent does like fear of like damn like all of it, if I stop this shit, all of this shit gotta change?
Yeah.
Because I already know that the only reason that me and you are together, or the only reason that we are in this situation, or the only reason that me and you are friends is because we have this link.
Mhm.
Whether it be like we addicted to love, or we don't want to be alone, or we had these like habits, we drink together, we smoke together, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying, like it's convenient to fuck you,
Mm.
like you know what I'm saying, just like any of those things. And it's just like if I say that I want more, or if I say that I want to change, or if I say that I want to do better, or I don't want to do this habit anymore, then I know for a fact that we no longer have anything in common, and my entire world will change. And to what extent do you think that stops people from fully coming to terms with their shit?
I think that stops a lot of people because a lot of people have formed so many relationships and bonds through their addictions, and they realize like once they start to realize that this is an addiction, they have to pull away. They pull away from these people, and you addicted to these people or these things or these bonds, and it's hard. It's hard to break up with your addiction.
Mm-hmm.
it's very hard to break up with your addiction because it's what you've known for so long. It's kept you stable. Even if you unstable, it was like stable in some way because it was consistent, it was reliable, it was there. You know where to get it, you know where you could find it, you know
Mm-hmm.
it's available. And it's like you really start to look at like, wow, like shit is about to change. And it's you gotta be ready for that change. Sometimes people are forced into it,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's usually the scariest part when you forced to do it, because then that you gotta deal with the stuff that's
You've
happened
been
while you was in
avoiding.
it, that you've been
You wasn't
avoiding,
ready.
that you wasn't ready for.
Yeah.
And I think I'm grateful. I think I'm grateful. Scratch that. I'm very grateful because I've been able to have the choice to
Yep.
do it, because
Yep.
I noticed that like if I didn't start making the choice to do it the right way, if I would have had somebody in my family tell me like, "Oh, we taking to rehab" or something like that, I would have been so resistant. It would have probably made me even do it more. It probably would have
Yeah.
made me want to even go harder just because I'm just like, I think I need to go to rehab. I need to go to rehab. Then I would have been toying with that. But I think that there's so much power in being able to like take control over your addiction and like break up with it. But it's not fucking easy. It's
Mm-hmm.
not easy. Even now, like even though like I've stopped smoking to like a full halt, um, I miss it because it's something
Right.
I'm used to doing, especially at night. But now I'm learning that like the stuff when I was smoking, I can replace that with other things. I can go to bed early. I can go to bed on time. I could be
Yeah.
reading. I could wake up early and actually fucking do yoga now. And it's just like I'm reclaiming back my space, time, and energy. And I'm just like, I just love that I'm able to do that. And I'm like, I'm no longer giving those things the power to like take over my life. Like
Yeah.
it's just not it. And it's just like when you start looking at the relationship and like how it's impacted things around you, and you start doing like some inner work and you really start analyzing your environment and like what's going on, and you got to really check in.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't, they be so far deep in their addiction that they're so used to it that it's not even addiction, is their way of life, is a norm, is their life. It's like, I ain't addicted to nothing, it's my life, I drink, that's regular. Like I ain't addicted, that's regular life. Like it
Period. Yeah.
doesn't feel abnormal, but we know it's an addiction, but it doesn't feel abnormal for those folks. And everybody has their time, everybody has their season and their reason for like when they have to like confront that. Some people would take fucking years, some people would take a traumatic event. Like everybody has their different things that take them to wanting to deal with that. But like it's not easy, but I think the most important thing is to know that to have supportive people around you that's going to help you through it, because without that it's going to be hard to get out of it, and it's going to be hard to stay out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. Cause like, you know what I'm saying? Like the what you surround yourself with and what you feed yourself is always gonna be important. And like if you're not aware of, you know what I'm saying, like what you giving yourself, you know what I'm saying, you can lose control of it real easy. Cause there are not a lot of things, like especially like when you believe in God, like there are a lot of things that are out of your control. But the things that are in your control, you probably want to get a good handle on that shit.
Yeah.
You probably really do. Like, you know what I'm saying? You probably want to really get a good handle on yourself. And it helps you find peace at the same time too. Because there's peace in knowing what you can't control and having control of what you can.
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
it's like, that shit's not mine. But see this right here, yeah, I can control that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, on that note, I want to thank you for coming through. I enjoyed this
Me
conversation.
too. I'm glad we got a chance to talk about it. I feel like there's so many more layers that we could get into, but like I
Absolutely.
think that I'm grateful for you to like use your platform to start talking about this stuff, because it really does impact so many different people. And uh we gotta start having these uncomfortable conversations.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because you know what I'm saying? Like, more people are dealing with things than, you know what I'm saying, they are willing to admit. Now, you could take a look around to see it, but you know what I'm saying? Who is ready to admit it? And like my role that I want to play here is just like we ain't gotta be scared to admit these things. Like It's all right. We not alone.
Yeah.
Nobody's not alone. And I think, like, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to like people that came before us, it was just like hide it, hide it, hide it, hide it, hide it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Hide it. Let's not talk about it. Like, hush, hush this. Hush, hush this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, Uncle such and such is an alcoholic. We ain't gonna say that.
Yeah.
He just liked to have him a drink every now and again, and he liked to emotionally abuse people and go off on them. But that's just how he is, though. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? Or whatever it is that we deal with. Like, even think about this shit. Like, I thought about this shit the other day, and this is the last thing I'm gonna say, like, or tangent, I promise. But like, you know what I'm saying? When you think about stuff like that, like when I say like my relationship with like sex, like if I'm not in a relationship, I genuinely am celibate. I don't be on shit. Cause I'm like a sapiosexual. I don't really, you can be cute all day, but I need something. So like, you know what I'm saying? But like when I finally like connect with somebody, I'm on it. And I want it. And at one time I used to feel like kind of like entitled to it. Like you'd be like, I want it like if we ain't doing shit, then why are we not doing it? You know what I'm saying? Like, if we ain't doing shit, why we not doing it? And
Yeah.
like, you know what I'm saying? But everybody ain't always in the mood for that. And I would be like the type of nigga that would have like an attitude. I ain't gonna
Mm-hmm.
go cheat on you, but I might be a little annoyed because it's just like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, I did all this fucking weighing, but at the same time, it's just like I ain't on shit. Like, so like now I'm at a place in life where I'm like evaluating my relationships with things, and it's just
Mm-hmm.
like, bitch, you ain't on shit though. Like you really was like not on shit, and you had like so much free time. So like, of course, but like in reality, like that's not a healthy relationship with sex. Like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Especially like if you feel like you need it and are entitled to
Entitled to it. That's a good one.
it.
We could talk about that. Let's save that for another episode.
But no, like even being real, like you know what I'm saying, like it's just like I'm the same thing with like weed. It's just like if I got a life and I'm busy, like do are you even gonna wanna? Are you
Yeah.
even gonna have the energy for shit like that? Like you know what I'm saying? Is that even a realistic expectation
Mm-hmm.
of yourself and also somebody else?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like those are the things that like shit like that makes you think about and like kind of put more shit into perspective. Because like how many times do you hear that shit from people like, yeah, I gotta have sex every day, twice a day?
Yeah. I'm just
Fuck you
like,
talking about? Like, hold on, wait, nigga, what? Even with kids and jobs and all of this shit, like, nigga, huh?
you don't even be having it. Sometimes you don't even be having the energy to fuck, but that's child. Listen.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It's just like we really got to realize like what are we using to make ourselves good, and it's like if you feel like you need that shit, and if you can't be okay without some shit, you might need to do a little more reflecting about your
You might have
relationship with
some
that
deeper
shit.
fucking issues
Mm-hmm.
filling that void. But I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we're gonna talk about that. That's even part two.
That's giving part due. Okay. But on
Mm-hmm.
that note, we gonna go ahead and wrap this up and get out of here. We done kept each other up all night and we gotta go to work in the manana. So
Not
on
manana, okay.
okay. But Kay, thank you so much for coming through. Do you wanna let the people know where to find you on social media?
Actually, I do not at this
Oh,
time.
okay, boundaries.
I'm not really on social media as heavy as I want to be, and I'm like, it's no point. But you're gonna tag me anyway, so people could find me
Not if you
that
don't
way.
want me to. I respect your boundaries. The fuck?
You could tag me. My Instagram is KA__CHENA. That's my Instagram. That's mostly where you could find me at. But other than that, that's about it. Thanks for having me. This was fun as always. I always enjoy talking to you and sharing my opinions. So thank you for allowing me to do that on your platform.
Not a problem. Not a problem. Not a problem. And I thank you for coming through and having this conversation and being open and transparent. Y'all, if y'all
Period.
like this, Make sure y'all like, comment, share, and subscribe. Put other people onto the podcast. Let them know what we doing. If it's something that you want to hear us talk about, a suggestion for a series that you want me to start, definitely leave a comment and let me know. Or find me on social media and DM me. If you're looking for us, you can find Thinker versus Speaker at Thinker versus Speaker on Instagram and Facebook. Thinker versus Speaker official on TikTok. And if you're looking for me personally, you can find me at Marissa Y17 on Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, Twitter when I feel like it, but I never feel like it. And also Marissa Yarbrough on Facebook. That's a lot to fucking say.
Right. God damn. Follow her everywhere.
Follow me everywhere. But on that note, y'all, I'm finna go to bed. I gotta go to work in the morning, and I had a long ass weekend. But happy New Year to y'all. I hope it was safe. I hope y'all had y'all a good time, and y'all was able to get something from this. But yeah, we gonna see y'all next week.
Bye.
Later, y'all.